This is VSiN, the sports betting network.
The numbers told the story, they always do.
It's one of those idiots who believe in analytics.
This is a numbers game with Gil Alexander on VSiN.
Good Tuesday morning to you. It is a numbers game at VSiN, the sports betting network, VSiN.com, Game Plus, iHeartRadio, YouTube TV, Sirius XM Channel 158. Gil Alexander, Kelly Midland.
Hello.
In the house. Circa Resort Casino, downtown Las Vegas. On the heels of Game 3 of the NBA Championship, the NBA Finals. We're going to talk about that up top. But before that, let you know Jake Hahn will join us here to talk Stanley Cup Final Game number 4 with us this hour. Sia Nejad will join us. I'm actually I always look forward to Sia's appearances on the show, but today in particular, because we want to talk about this Brendan Sorsby matter that has just, the news came down during the show yesterday. We already had sort of our agenda, what we wanted to talk about, so we didn't really react to it. But just an outrageous injunction granted. Sia is a lawyer by trade, in addition to being a guy who talks golf and NFL handicapping with us. So we'll talk to Sia about that ruling. Drew Dinsick, NBA Finals, see if he's playing any grass court tennis. I am not. And then Mark Borchardt, Joe Sheehan on some Major League Baseball a little later on the show as well.
I like it. Stacked guest list. Got some hockey, Dinsick, and then baseball later in the show.
Yeah, I believe I said that. Last night, ladies and gentlemen, the San Antonio Spurs get off the schneid the NBA Finals. They beat the New York Knicks in a raucous crowd at MSG. Donald Trump in attendance. Absolute pandemonium and mayhem, and the Spurs say, we don't care. We're winning. 115-111, the final score, if I'm not mistaken, of that ball game last night. And the Spurs get it done. They avoid the 0-3 deficit where no team has ever come back from in any NBA playoff series, best of 7 ever in history. And 24 hours ago, I sat here at the beginning of the show, Kelly, and I said a couple things. One, I wanted to go through, everybody was, how could the Spurs only be 2-point favorites in Game 3 after winning both games 1 and 2 at San Antonio? And I just sort of pointed out, Spurs had double-digit leads in both games 1 and 2. They led late in both of them. Wembanyama had a terrible game in Game 1. Spurs missed 8 free throws in Game 2. But I also conceded the Knicks deserved games 1 and 2, right? In Game 2 specifically, the rally-stopping foul on Anunoby behind the arc should have been called a foul, right? And Jalen Brunson, after the Wemby turnover, trying to get it to Castle with 9 seconds left, maybe he embellished it, but it should have been called a foul. And so the Knicks deserve both. And my comment yesterday was, you may recall, I wonder if Knicks fans will be as objective if these things go against them in Game 3. Well, little portent of things to come. Last night, Spurs took a 7-0 lead on the strength of 3 Knicks turnovers to start the game, 2 Wemby dunks and a Wemby block. They led. The Spurs did by as many as 12 in the first quarter, led after the first 33-22. They got it to 12 early in the second quarter, but at 40-30, an 8-0 Knicks run cut it to 40-38. And at, Knicks took their first lead at 50-49. 54-50 San Antonio after a Wemby 3 and a Wemby alley-oop jam, but then Castle trucked Brunson at 57-56 San Antonio, and the Knicks took that, went on an 8-0 run to close the half. New York's biggest lead, 64-57 at the end of the second quarter. Castle had 18 at the half. Anunoby had 17 on 5 of 6 shooting. Brunson had 15. Hart had 13 on 5 of 6 shooting. And it was just more of the same. San Antonio, though, they shot 53.5%. The Knicks shot 57.9%. San Antonio was 40% from behind the arc. The Knicks were 47% from behind the arc. And Charles Barkley said at halftime, so this series is over. I believe was the exact quote. Third quarter, Champagnie bucket sandwiched by 2 Knicks turnovers. Then a Champagnie 4-point play cut it immediately to 64-63, plus flagrant on Brunson, but San Antonio couldn't add to that. 7-0 run for the Spurs to retake the lead at 79-76 after they were down by 4, 76-72. They would extend the lead to as many as 5, 89-84, but only led 92-91 after 3. And you're like, wow, this series may very well be coming down to this quarter. Now, the Knicks committed 3 quick fouls in 64 seconds. Knicks finally go cold, and the Spurs build the lead at 98-91. It was a lot of opportunities for the Spurs to just blow this open, and they couldn't.
Yep.
Every time they had a shot, They couldn't get it to go. The Knicks were getting all kinds of offensive boards. San Antonio, though, was in the bonus with 8:10 remaining at 193. And then a would-be Wemby try for a 4-point play was reversed on a challenge to the basket being nullified. Johnson was pushed into, Keldon Johnson, Kelly's favorite sidebar thing in the series is the chunkier version of Keldon Johnson, pushing Mitch Robinson into Wemby, they found on review. So Brunson's layup turned a potential 11-point lead instead to a 5-point lead.
Yeah.
Big swing.
Right call.
Right call. 195 with 7:29 to go. Seemed like every time the Spurs threatened again to open up, Spurs couldn't hit the big shot or something would go down, or the Knicks would miss, but they'd corral a loose ball, which is exactly what happened when the Knicks cut it to 104-100. A Brunson layup and one. But on an alley-oop to Wemby and an Anunoby missed three, a Shamet missed three, a Fox missed, but then Brunson lost the ball. I mean, there was like no scoring. This almost went under in the end, this game. Wemby hit 2 free throws to put Spurs up 108-100. Then a Brunson miss, a Harper miss. Amazing block by Wemby on a Shamet lay-in try. A Wemby missed 3, a Wemby missed bunny. Then Castle fouled Brunson. He hit both free throws. It's 108-102 San Antonio with 3:40 to go. And then a Fox turnover. Cat missing from 3. The Knicks at this point were 0 of 9 from behind the arc in the fourth quarter. Again, finally going cold. Vassell, though, missed the 3. Brunson blocked by Castle. Towns blocked by Fox. Towns blocked by Fox again. He's screaming for a foul on that one. Brunson bucket. 108-104, just over 2 minutes left. Castle, massive 3 as the shot clock is expired. That was the shot of the game right there. 111-104, bumped up back to 7. Then Bridges missed the 3. Harper missed the 3. But then Anunoby fouled by Wemby with 59.6 left. He hits 1 of 2. It's 111-105. You figure the game is over. Harper 3, no good. Brunson 3, good, though, with 34 left to cut it in half. Spurs up 3. 9-second difference between the game clock and the shot clock. Fox, 16-foot step back, splash. 113-108 San Antonio with 12 seconds left. Hart, great inbound in the corner to Anunoby. OJ with Harper draped on him. He hits a 3. Good with 9.4 seconds left. Spurs only up 2. 113-111. Knicks missed their first 10 3 tries in the fourth quarter. Then they hit the 2 big ones at the end. Castle foul with 6.8 left, though. Kelly makes them both. 115-111. That's the 4-point cushion they needed. Bridges missed a 3, and then Anunoby missed a 3 to close it out. Wemby, 32-8-6 with 2 steals and 3 blocks in victory for the Spurs. Castle, 23-5-5. Brunson had 32, but he had it on 25 shots. Inefficient. Anunoby, on the other hand, 28 on 13 shots. 9 of 13 shooting in defeat. And then after the game, Mike Brown immediately goes into the press conference, and one of the first things out of his mouth, well, you know, they had 24 free throw attempts in the second half. We only had 8. But they deserve credit. But I should point out that they had 24 free throw attempts and we had 8 in the second half. But I give them credit.
It's all just
over and over doing that.
Yeah. It's all just
so predictable.
It's all mind games. You try to set up the rest of the series, right? You want the media talking about the fouls, and then it gets back to the refs, and hopefully that affects officiating
Knicks
going
had 6
forward.
more free throw attempts than they did in the first half.
Yeah,
he should point that out as well.
It was.
How about your team just fouled them too many times?
Yeah.
Now, sure, they missed the Wemby shove on Brunson in the first quarter. I'll give you that much.
There were some bad ones. There were a couple bad misses, and I thought it was a little tilted to the Knicks side, Gil. But I was sure surprised to hear this morning how much of that reaction was going around. Of just the refs gave this game to the Spurs. The Knicks were gonna. Me and you never talk about these things beforehand. Sounds like you and I were on mainly the same page. This is carried over from the Western Conference Finals, the NBA Finals. I don't think the Spurs really initiate it, but these series have become extremely physical. Which I understand. You're going to shut down Victor Wembanyama. You have to be physical, and guess what? Then there's retaliation to that. There's Stephon Castle that's going to bully up Jalen Brunson. You're going to have Keldon Johnson bullying up Karl Anthony Towns when he can. It gets physical. A lot of these fouls are fouls, though, and then when you get into
fouls.
And Gil, when you get into the second half, it is not the ref's fault that because you
No.
accumulated 3 personals
right.
in the first half, that next foul is going to send you to the bench.
And guess what? Things are never going to be completely even.
No, they're
It just
never.
doesn't work that way. It's called basketball. I will say this couple things. One, game was the NBA with these reviews. It was so unwatchable. for a period of time yesterday in the fourth quarter.
If that wants to be your criticism coming out of this game, that it was just a tougher game to watch with all the fouls and reviews, absolutely. I'm not going to argue that point. Here's
the big question. Winner of Game 4 tomorrow night at MSG is the winner of this series, yes or no?
Ooh, I see where you're getting at. I'm going to go no, just because all three of these games have been so close.
Yeah,
they've been so close. I don't think that we could say one game is gonna swing. I mean, if the Knicks win that game, I guess it's tough for the Spurs to come back. But no, I'm going to say no.
Yeah. 2-1, Knicks up. Spurs have only done half the job of getting back off the schneid here from the 2-0 deficit. So the Knicks still in the driver's seat, still have home court. Heading into tomorrow night's game, where I'll tell you, the amazing thing about also with all these games, Spurs have had the double-digit lead 3 times. Spurs cannot at any point blow the Knicks off the court, though. Every opportunity they seem to get, whether it's games 1, 2, or 3, they simply cannot get it past a certain point. I mean, with all those opportunities to do so.
How damn good was OG Anunoby last
he's
night?
amazing.
He's so good. And this is, I think, if there are possible bad signs that you could take coming out of this game for the Knicks, it felt like there was a lot more Brunson ball. Ball was back in his hands. Karl Anthony Towns was not facilitating things as much. Cat felt like a non-factor last night. And I don't think the Knicks are winning this series with Karl Anthony Towns.
Mikal Bridges was a non-factor last night.
He just sucked. Yeah,
right.
Yeah, but you're right.
But the other way to look at Anunoby and Hart, can you expect them to be that good again? There was a point where these two are never missing a shot.
The shooting was incredible.
These two are never missing a shot. By the way, Game 4 line, right back to where it was. Knicks favored by 2. Totals at 216.5. Game 4 tomorrow night.
I did not get that line discussion at all. We can talk more about that.
Let's do that after the break. Talk a little baseball, too. And then Jay Kahn will join us for Stanley Cup Final. Game number 4 tonight in Vegas. It's a numbers game at VSiN, the Sports Betting Network.
Racetrack Television Network brings you every race, from every track, on every screen, every day. With monthly packages starting as low as $5, RTN gives you great value and access to more live HD streaming and race replays than anyone. Visit RTN.tv today to sign up and watch on almost any device, including Roku and Amazon Fire. Use promo code TRYRTN for a 5-day free trial.
This is VSiN, a network of sports betting analysts, writers, hosts, and handicappers, all here to help you become a more confident bettor. We broadcast live every day from Las Vegas, the sports betting capital of the world, and from studios across the country, giving you insight from every angle of the action. Take VSiN with you wherever you go with the VSiN Watch app, or catch us on streaming platforms and regional sports networks. You can also listen live on SiriusXM Channel 158 and on radio stations nationwide. Check out VSiN.com as well for betting tools, exclusive betting splits, AI-powered player prop projections from Opta, pro picks for every game, plus in-depth betting guides and articles built to give you an edge. From sharp betting analysis and daily best bets to insider interviews and expert breakdowns, VSiN is your trusted source for everything happening in the world of sports betting. See everything we have to offer at VSiN.com and become part of the Sports Betting Network.
Coming up on the next edition of Follow the Money, the World Cup is here. Nigel Seeley, his best bets and future board picks and matches this weekend. Jonathan Davis to talk Game 4 of the Stanley Cup Final. Likewise, Derek Stevens, and also his upcoming World Cup events and what's going on at Circa. Follow the Money, 4 to 7 Eastern on VSiN, the Sports Betting Network, SiriusXM Channel 158. Check out the website for all the betting tools and analysis, or get the VSiN Watch app.
A numbers game on VSiN, the sports betting network.
VSiN.com has everything you need to bet smarter right now on VSiN.com. Mexico versus South Africa World Cup preview from Alex Blowers. Is that how we pronounce Alex's last name?
Blowers.
Blowers or Blowers?
Blowers. Blowers. I don't know. I've messed it up.
Kelly doesn't know. I'm going to go Blowers. Game's Thursday, by the way. Greg Peterson's MLB Best Bets and Carolina VGK Game 4 picks from Jonathan Davis tonight. Coming later today on the website, Tyler Shoemaker's WNBA Best Bets, Steve Makinen's NASCAR simulation for Pocono, and USA versus Paraguay World Cup preview from Luke DeVasta. That game's on Friday. Right now, early bird pricing live for our football season special. Sign up today, get access to everything VSiN does through the Super Bowl for just $175. The earlier you lock it in, the more you get out of it. Head to VSiN.com/subscribe today. We get tweets, beating the book.
It's Blowers, right, Danny? I screwed it up once, and then he corrected me, and now I can't remember. Yeah, Blowers.
Apologies to Alex. I correctly pronounced your name. Then I asked Kelly for verification, and here we are.
Do you ever do that, though, where you mispronounce someone's name like once, and then you can't get it out of your head? Like, you can't get out of your own way with it? That happened with Alex. Also happened with Danny Smythe back there.
Are you quite done, or are you go through it all?
Yeah.
What about Darnell? Let's go with Darnell now.
Glenn.
Shrek McPhee. Tomorrow is more of a must-win for New York than any game San Antonio has had so far. That's saying a lot. That place will be raucous or a funeral home tomorrow. No in between. That's for sure. Alt-Control-Delete. That's clever. Absolutely kicking myself for not recognizing the obvious. Oh, boy. Everything the president touches dies angle. Working against the Knicks last night. I saw Stephen A. was already on that, blaming the president for the loss last night. President seemed locked in for a while in that game. Seemed very enthralled by it.
They didn't cut to him as many times as I thought they were going to.
No, that's true.
Yeah?
That's true. Uncle Bush, Gil, you know the old adage, it's not a series until someone wins on their home floor. See what he did there?
Yeah, I did. It's like the fourth time I've heard the joke today, too.
Real Knicks. That loud sound you heard last night around 11:30 p.m. Eastern was me angrily ripping up my New York Knicks sweep ticket. On the bright side, as a Sixers fan, I can go back to rooting for the Spurs. And Mikey P complaining about the officiating after a loss in the playoffs is so lazy. Yes, it is, Mikey P. Couldn't agree more. I thought it was going to be the Knicks fans. I didn't expect it from their coach.
Oh, they all do this, though. It's just gamesmanship. Like, I actually get it from the coach's standpoint. The fans, you don't have to believe everything you hear.
I thought it was lame. I appreciate guys like Cat who are like that. We lost. We lost. By the way, Jalen Brunson said we fouled him too much.
Mm-hmm.
Like, he's accepting the fact that, yeah, we actually fouled him, you know. Can I say a couple baseball things before we get back to basketball? Because there's a couple things in baseball last night. One is bettable stuff. One is just me because I love sort of baseball history stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Joe DiMaggio famously record 56-game hitting streak, right? Pete Rose holds the National League record 44 games in a row. But DiMaggio's 56 never approached. Like, no one's ever come close. Jung-Hoo Lee of the San Francisco Giants isn't close. In fact, there was an 0 for 4. Otherwise, he'd have a 22-game hitting streak. Instead, he has a 16-game hitting streak currently. But during this 16-game hitting streak, he has gone from a 267 batting average to a 333 batting average, which I think is the third best in baseball overall. But as part of this hitting streak, he's had a 4 for 5, a 5 for 6, a 4 for 5, and a 4 for 5, which he did last night in the Giants' loss. So just something to keep an eye on. Every at-bat of his is just this work of art to watch right now if you love that kind of baseball nerdiness. The bettable thing, though, is did you catch this game in Vegas last night?
Yeah, man.
Milwaukee 15, Athletics 14. In a game that had 29 runs and 34 hits and 11 home runs, including Shea Langeliers' 483 bomb to start it off.
Jeez.
In the bottom of the first. There were of the 11 homers last night, here are the tape measures. You ready for this?
Yeah.
483, 463, 457, 447, 443, 434, 420, 418. I stopped counting after that.
We're not dealing with a small park, right? Like a ridiculously small park?
I don't think it's ridiculous.
Okay, yeah, I never heard anybody mention that.
It's the air. I will say this, after the basketball game, I took an over 17 and over 17.5, and when the Brewers were down 8-5, I just simply said, Brewers, better baseball team. This place has already proven to be a bandbox. 4-1 on the Brewers. Fell asleep, didn't know the final, to click it on, I'm like, bam.
Boom, there you go.
But I suggest for everybody on a game like this tonight, bet it that way, right? By the way, you feel bad about for a guy like Kyle Harrison. There goes your Cy Young bid.
Welcome to Vegas.
Welcome to Vegas. Vegas just killed you.
Oh man, that is always great to think about. We always talk about how long of a season it is for Major League Baseball. It's not that long when you're a starting pitcher and you've got limited starts for a big time award, right?
Poor dude.
Okay, so what is our adjusted total for tonight? Is
I believe it's 13, right?
13 is what we're looking at. And it closed 11 last night?
Coin flip of a game. It's 13. On the group chats, by the way, it's Las Vegas Ballpark. It's where the Las Vegas Aviators play their baseball games in Summerlin, in gorgeous Summerlin, Nevada here. We were wondering, is this the highest non-Coors, non-Wrigley, hold on, work with me, non-Coors, non-Wrigley, non-Mexico, non-London game ever?
What about,
I think it is.
What about Sacramento and wherever the A's or the Rays played last year?
Did Sacramento get up to 13 all the time? Maybe it did.
I don't know. I thought that's where you were going with throwing out all these ballparks that we've seen recently.
And I was thinking, well, what was the highest of all time? Wasn't there a Mexico City game? People will corroborate this.
Oh,
Right?
yeah.
There was a Mexico City game in like 2023 where I want to say the total was 20 or 20 and a half.
I was going to go with like 18, but yeah.
No.
Okay.
I think it's
in the 20s.
I think you're right. I think the previous game was around 17 and a half, 18, and then they like broke over in the sixth inning, and the next game they made it like 20. It's like a Padres game.
You know
I
what?
want to say.
I think you've got it exactly right.
So,
but I'm going to double check.
But of the non-Coors, non-Wrigley, non-Mexico, non-London thing, I think we're teetering on the most ever tonight here in Las Vegas at 13. Again, minus 106s on each side of this over at Circa. So yeah, I would bet it that way. I'd wait for the A's to take some lead. I don't know if you feel as confident the other way, if the Brewers took a lead. But if the Athletics take any kind of lead, and it's like, mid-innings, have no compunction whatsoever firing on the Brewers. And just the overfest that you could have had last night, betting this. Again, 29 runs, 34 hits. Back to basketball, you wanted to say something else about
Do we think it was 2023? Padres played in it. Yeah, 2023. I remember the Padres, too. Padres-Giants, does that sound right?
Maybe. It was early season. I want to say it was right around, like, April, May-ish.
So game one, they played 2 games.
Yeah.
And it was April, end of April. Game one was 16-11.
And because of that game, the next game was 20,
then the second game was a 6-4 finish. Does that sound right? Yeah,
way
under. Yeah, that sounds right to me. I'll have to look up those odds.
Anyway, I don't want to go crazy using this one game as an indication. But
I was just going to ask it. I mean, because that's why I was asking the ballpark factors. I mean, it's really more just the elevation and we're getting warmer out, right?
Well, to hear it's the warmth, right? Like, that's Mexico City is the ultimate in elevation. Makes Coors look like it's a mound.
Well, didn't I catch this is second highest elevation behind Coors? Yeah, behind Coors.
This would be second highest, yeah. So, anyway, if you see a ball go out 483 feet in the first inning, which is what happened last night, I think it's a good sort of directional signal for you. See how it plays tonight. I'd love to go to one of these.
Yeah, 2,000 feet above sea level makes it the second highest professional baseball venue.
Yeah. What's Mexico City like? Way higher.
Well, let's see. Rockies are
stadium
5,200 feet.
And as you know, by all the Denver Nuggets things, right? 5,280, I believe it is exactly.
7,300 for Mexico City.
7,300. Elevation Radio. Oh, the ratings are soaring.
So just one Denver more than where Las Vegas Ballpark has played at. You get to
Las Vegas
Mexico
plus
City.
Coors equals Mexico City.
Thank you. You made that make more sense.
What did you want to add to the game 4?
Oh man, just coming out of that game, first of all, a lot of credit to the young guys on San Antonio, right? That I think did struggle a little bit early. I thought that was a heck of a bounce back game by Stephon Castle. I thought he played great both offensively and defensively. He did struggle a little bit games 1, 2 offense. I'd hate to make it this simple, Gil, but does it not feel, with how impressive Karl Anthony Towns has been, it really feels like this series is just coming down to Cat versus Wemby.
Yeah.
And whoever's going to have the most big games the rest of the way, I think is probably the decider here. Finals MVP. Zach Cohen asked me this morning on Hardwood Handicappers. I thought it was a great question. Brunson plus 105, Wemby plus 165, Cat out to 4-1.
It's still Cat.
If you were interested in Cat yesterday.
Yeah, if you think the Knicks are winning, it's still Cat to me.
It's still Cat.
Although OG Anunoby's 40-1. You don't take a shot on that either?
Don't get me wrong. It is not. I don't think that's crazy. Because they don't have, there's not an answer. In theory, there's not an answer defensively for these wings on New York. They don't have the guys out there.
Wemby, clearly the guy for San Antonio. But
Yeah.
Jalen Brunson, again, he had 32 points last night, but it was on 11 of 25 shooting. Are we rewarding that?
No, I'm not.
By the way, his dad should just go away. Every time Jalen Brunson gets in a little scrum, can his dad just not show up?
Yeah.
A little much.
He's always security out there.
Stanley Cup Final, Jay Kahn, Game 4, tonight in Vegas. Next on A Numbers Game.
Biggest contest we've ever seen.
Seriously, what's the guarantee?
They're still talking about it.
I think it's time to put the rumors to rest.
Showtime.
$30 million.
$30 million?
$30 million? $30 million?
That's $30 million guaranteed. 3 contests, multiple ways to win, no rate. Entry starting at $1,000. Enter in Nevada, play from anywhere.
Elevate your sports betting game with VSiN's exclusive betting splits. Stay ahead with real-time market trends and track bet percentages on any matchup, then uncover the edge by comparing them to the amount of bets placed to find out where the sharp money is headed. Upgrade to VSiN Pro to access betting splits, live odds, line moves, power ratings, and in-depth game analysis. Go to vsin.com/pro to join VSiN, the sports betting network.
This is VSiN, the Sports Betting Network. A numbers game on VSiN, the Sports Betting Network.
Looking to bet the NBA Finals game number 4. Polymarket lets you react in real time. Cash out before the final buzzer, unlike traditional sportsbooks where you're locked into the game until it ends. Get started with a free $50 using promo code BUZZ at Polymarket. That's B-U-Z-Z, BUZZ, as in Buzz Peterson, or as Kelly got himself buzzed this weekend for $50 for free. For $50 free, it says, by the way. Trading not available in all jurisdictions. Check local regulations before trading. Restrictions and eligibility requirements apply. Once again, promo code BUZZ at Polymarket. We get tweet speed of the book. Just want to read a couple here. This is from Chris Heath. What's the total in Vegas baseball tonight? 24.5? Nope, 13. Didn't adjust it that much. Shrek. Mike Brown should have been more angry. The refs let San Antonio fake sub for more time to challenge that call than the free throw discrepancy. What was that? They just blew the whistle after the inbound. LOL. Yeah, the refs.
That was weird.
The refs were having a rough time in this game for a lot of reasons. Numbers guys, Gilly, I usually agree with your takes across the board, but yesterday I was a bit disappointed to hear your thoughts that Earth, Wind, and Fire are the greatest band ever. I'm not sure they're even in the top 2. Come on, man. Earth, Wind, and Fire. I said Beatles aside. Earth, Wind, and Fire, greatest band ever. I stand by it. Who's better? Who's better?
I like that he cut it down to, I'm not even sure they're in the top 2.
That's right.
So he's like the third best? Third best?
Yeah, third best, maybe. I saw a third of that documentary. Can't wait for the musical explosion for the rest of these. Ladies and gentlemen, let's talk some hockey. Jake Hahn joins us now from north of the border. You can follow him on Twitter at JHahn4. That's JHAHN4. Of course, Jake is the co-host on the Point and the fantasy hockey show, I should say, at SiriusXM NHL, co-host of NHL Fantasy on Ice podcast at NHL Fantasy. Jake joins us now, courtesy of the Progressive Guest Line. Curiously, not wearing his Group B baseball cap in celebration of Canada's Group B status. Are you excited for the World Cup at all, Jake? No? Yes?
I really missed the mark on that one, Gil. Now that you just said that, I'm thinking I really missed out here. But I am excited. I tempered excitement. I'm not the biggest soccer guy, but I do get into soccer for the World Cup, the Euro Cup as well. Any of these big pinnacle national events I can get into. I'll become a soccer expert in about a week or so. I'll be telling you about teams. So I'll certainly jump in. I'll be certainly making some bets, and I'll be rooting for Canada. They have a game here, not far from where I'm talking to you on Friday. 3:00 Eastern time, Canada versus Bosnia. It was supposed to be Italy. All the Italians in Toronto bought up all the tickets, and the prices are coming down by the day. So maybe by the time Friday gets here, I can afford to go to the game. And the Yankees are in town as well this weekend. We've got the Canadian Open just outside of downtown Toronto. It is going to be an absolute zoo here. It basically already is. You're seeing the World Cup fans start to pile in downtown Toronto. So it's going to be wild here this weekend.
Throw out the records when Canada takes on Bosnia. A lot of history between those two nations.
Age-old rivalry.
Oh, yeah. Age-old. Everybody knows about it.
I did hear the thing about a bunch of the Italian Canadians buying up all those tickets, and then kind of stuck with this now.
Oh man,
that's right. There's a lot of the Italian community here is very powerful, and they got some of them got some money to throw around. So those ticket prices, guys, when Italy was looking like they were going to win that game, the live ticket prices were just absolutely insane. So they're getting a little bit more affordable as we get closer to game time here.
All right, Jake. Carolina Hurricanes, Vegas Golden Knights. The best first 3 games of any Stanley Cup final you remember?
We were debating this on the show yesterday, and obviously we have a lot of time to kill here before Game 4 with the extra day off. So we're debating some of those best Stanley Cup finals. And I know we always say what we're watching is the best, guys. I know you guys probably talk about this as well. The thing that's in your mind right now, that recency bias we always talk about, it's hard to top what we saw in these 3 games. You could probably find one that you could say maybe just is as good, but you get 2 overtime games, the last 2 games. The first game was basically overtime. Hurdle scored with about 3 minutes left in regulation to win that. So each game, you could argue right now, guys, it could be 3-0 Vegas. You could argue it could be 3-0 Carolina, 2-1 either way. Ultimately, it is 2-1 Vegas. Any of these games could have gone either way. That's all you could really ask. We've had some dramatic swings, some huge comebacks in games. I don't think you could really top what we've seen through 3 games in the Cup final so far.
I don't think you can. If you're Rod Brindamore, who's in goal for you tonight, Anderson or Bussey?
So again, this is something we've been debating ad nauseum over the course of yesterday. I'm sure we will today until we find out the official starter. I feel like there's a lean towards Brandon Bussi here. Now, Frederik Andersen wasn't at practice yesterday. They called it a maintenance day. They said nothing to worry about, just giving him the day off. Obviously, been a long postseason run. You see that quite often at this point in the playoffs. So I wouldn't read too much into that. But I think, to me, the fact, Gil, that Bussi came in and played almost a full game, because he came in, he took over after the second period. Right. So he played the full third. He played a full overtime frame and then a few minutes. So not technically a full game, but at least 2 full periods. I like that. For a guy that hadn't played a game in 2 months, has never played a playoff game in his entire career either. I want to at least see him get some action, and he was able to do that because that last game went so long. So you got to like how he played. You certainly can't blame him for a bit of a fluky overtime winner there off the backboards and in. So I think there's going to be a lean towards Brandon Bussi tonight, but we'll see what Rod Brindamore has up his sleeve.
We will see. I will stand by that. You're right. You don't want to be prisoner of the moment, to use another cliche, but I think it's the best 3 to start a Stanley Cup final. Golden Knights come back from 2 down in Game 1. That's never been done before in a Stanley Cup Game 1 on the road. Carolina comes back from 2 down in Game 2. Then the ultimate, Carolina comes back from 4 down after the fastest hat trick in the history of the Stanley Cup Final. 6 minutes and 10 seconds from Mitch Marner. 4 points in that second period, only to have hockey happen in the second overtime and the puck just carry him off the board and the skate into the goal. And Vegas, more relief than glee, I would imagine, with that win at that moment, as the Golden Knights lead it 2-1. What about tonight? How are you betting it?
So on the money line, guys, this is tough. As we just talked about, all 3 of these games could go either way. I mentioned on my show yesterday, I feel like at this point, if you're betting the money line, maybe we just flip a coin and we let the coin decide, because all these games, the margins are razor thin. But I do look at the price right there, and I see some value in the Vegas Golden Knights. With question marks between the pipes with Carolina, okay, if they do go Bussi, this is a guy that's never started a playoff game in his life. And he had a tremendous season this year. He sort of came out of nowhere, but there's a lot of pressure kind of sitting there thinking about your start instead of just getting thrown in the fire. And he was very impressive on Saturday to kind of settle that thing down for Carolina. So you either have a guy starting his first ever playoff game for Carolina, or you have Frederik Andersen, who just hasn't played well in this series and seems to be struggling and is maybe losing his game a little bit. So I think the goaltending edge lies with Vegas. They are on home ice here as well. Whatever that means these days in the National Hockey League doesn't seem to mean a whole heck of a lot. Just the fact that they're a slight underdog, Gil, if I had to play the money line, I would take the Vegas Golden Knights. Just a little bit of value, in my opinion, there.
If you had to play, but you're stopping short of playing it. But if you had to play Vegas, which will warm people here, their hearts for sure.
I think at this point, I'm avoiding the money line, guys, just because this series has been so crazy. It could be a good live betting opportunity the way this series has gone. Now, I don't know if we get these high scoring, crazy comebacks the entire series, but we're 3 games in and we continue to get them. So maybe it's a situation where Vegas gets down early, you look at a live money line, or vice versa. If you like Carolina in this game, you lean towards them. Heck, Vegas could get up 1 or 2, and the way this series has gone, you still feel like you could jump in live on the team that's trailing.
Yeah, I don't want to speak for Kelly, but I think we're aligned on this, which is for the non-hockey bettors out here in the world, we can't possibly imagine how anyone pre-flop can have any conviction in saying, oh, yeah, this team should absolutely be the play tonight. Okay, you do have 4 prop bets, though. What do you got?
Right, and that's perfectly put. I know we're supposed to have a strong take and say, this is what I'm betting, this is what I like. Sometimes it's just up in the air, right? And if you've watched all 3 of these games, that's kind of been the case. Nobody's really taking it to anybody. There's maybe been stretches where one team's played well, the other team's played well, but all in all, it's been a very even series through 3 games. Block shots, guys, that's something that obviously we love come postseason time. Definitely in the Stanley Cup Final, neither of these teams are afraid to get in front of some rubber. Jeremy Lauzon over 1.5 blocks on the Vegas side of the ledger. He's come back into the lineup. Now, Braden McNabb played that last game with the full cage, absolute warrior. So I think Lauzon's going to soak up a few more of the block shots. We saw him have a bunch in the last game, over 1.5 for him. If you wanted to play over 2.5, I don't mind that for a little bit of plus money there as well. Jalen Chatfield over 1.5 blocks on the Carolina side. And again, he had 4 in the last game. I like him to continue to get in front of pucks, and you get a better price on him compared to some of the other players. George Jordan Staal over 1.5 shots. He's been firing in this series. He's been used more as an offensive piece, as sort of a two-way guy, a face-off guy. I like the value on Staal. You're still getting plus money for just 2 shots on goal with Jordan Staal in this game for Carolina tonight. And Carter Hart, I can't believe a save prop opposing Carolina guys has dipped this low. Usually it lives in the 28.5, 29.5 range, but I think that's a lot of respect to Vegas and how they can get in front of pucks. And they've frustrated Carolina at times in this series. They can't have their high volume shooting type games. So Carter Hart over 26.5 saves. I'm buying the dip on the save prop here. And heck, maybe we get another long overtime game. That would certainly help all these overs.
Yeah, man. This has just been awesome. Again, Jalen Chatfield over 1.5 blocks, Jeremy Lauzon over 1.5 blocks, Jordan Staal over 1.5 shots on goal, and Carter Hart over 26.5 saves, the VGK goalie tonight. Jake, enjoy Game 4. May it be just as awesome as Games 1 through 3.
I don't know how it's gonna follow up Games 1 through 3, guys, but we'll find out tonight. Always love joining you, and go Canada at the World Cup.
Go Canada. What did you say before the segment? He's like, yeah, we're Oppo.
We can combine our teams.
That's right.
Still lose.
Thank you, Jake.
I like that. See you guys.
Coming back with Sia Najad on Brendan Sorsby and more next.
VSiN's player prop projection tool is now available for the NBA. Get projections for points, assists, rebounds, and more powered by Opta AI. On VSiN.com/NBA props, we line up our projections against the latest DraftKings odds so you can quickly spot mismatches and find value before the market adjusts. The NBA player prop projections tool is available exclusively to VSiN Pro subscribers. Check it out now at VSiN.com/NBA props and join us on the Sports Betting Network.
Your favorite VSiN shows and personalities are now available to download as podcasts. Catch every hour of our live broadcast with VSiN Best Bets, or find your go-to show and download it directly. Get instant reactions to last night's games, sharp analysis on today's biggest matchups, and everything in between. Whether you're commuting, working out, or just catching up, VSiN lets you take the action with you wherever and whenever you want. Search VSiN on your favorite podcast platform and get in on the action with VSiN, the Sports Betting Network.
A numbers game on VSiN, the sports betting network.
Back on a numbers game, live from Circle Resort Casino, downtown Las Vegas. Gil Alexander, Kelly Bidlin in the house. Yesterday, while we were on the show, it came down. We were sort of talking about other things. It came down, this news, that Texas Tech quarterback Brendan Sorsby was granted an injunction and would be permitted to play for Texas Tech this coming year. 2-game suspension, but otherwise permitted to play. Sorsby, for those who have forgotten, he admitted to placing over $90,000 in sports bets, including 40 wagers on his own team, the Indiana Hoosiers, back in 2022. And although the NCAA declared him permanently ineligible, a Texas district judge yesterday granted Sorsby a temporary injunction allowing him to play, as I said, the 2026 season. Now, this is as Dan Wetzel said on ESPN.com yesterday, he said this is third rail stuff, right? There's no gray area here. The NCAA not merely 100% justified in ruling him ineligible, but instead 100% obligated to do so. Mm-hmm. We call our friend Sia Nejad, who is an attorney by trade, to help us navigate through this absolutely outrageous injunction yesterday. He joins us now courtesy of the Progressive Guest Line. You can follow Sia on Twitter at Sia Nejad, SIANEJAD. Sia, good morning to you, sir, and thanks for joining us. Thanks for the time.
You're welcome. And yes, this is as silly as it sounds, Gil and Kelly.
So this absolutely just renders the NCAA powerless. And sort of, it just, again, a layman here sort of reacting to this, couldn't anybody do anything now? And by the way, part of the, what I'm gleaning from the reasoning here is part of it was the NCAA, if they did not allow him to play, they were in somehow harming his mental health or were going to hurt his mental health recovery. Am I reading that correctly?
You're reading that correctly, and it's in the order that the order. And I don't know if there were written arguments because I didn't see them, but the order certainly references the arguments that Jeffrey Kessler made on behalf of Brendan Sorsby and other counsel for Sorsby. But they definitely played the mental health angle, which honestly, I would have never suspected they would have played that angle because if we're being fair, it's laughable. I mean, this is an attorney that is very famous and that probably came in and just kind of like good old boy kind of folksied the judge into the wrong decision here. But the mental health angle doesn't really make any sense. Essentially what Kessler and company were saying was, well, if you deprive him of playing for Texas Tech, he's not going to benefit from this elite coaching. He's not going to be able to and this is language from the order. He's not going to be able to build the skills to maximize success for Sorsby and Texas Tech. So it's interesting that they kind of threw Texas Tech in there. And I think that's that would be like me, Gil and Kelly, cheating on the bar exam. I took the Virginia and Florida bar, passed both. Thank you very much on the first try. It would be like me cheating on the bar exam, getting caught, and then saying, hey, I want to appeal to the Virginia and Florida bar because if you uphold the idea that I'm not eligible to be an attorney just because I cheated on the bar exam, what you're really doing is depriving me of me maximizing my career potential and earnings. Right. You are depriving me of the camaraderie among my colleagues, including but not limited to law firm retreats and golf outings. It's so ridiculous on its face.
Did you also catch this, that this is so outrageous that we actually have officials from both Georgia and Kansas State making it clear they are refusing? By the way, neither are scheduled this year against Texas Tech, it should be pointed out. By the way, for those wondering, wait, aren't they just going to appeal? Any appeal, by the way, from the NCAA will happen after this coming season, so it will all be sort of rendered moot, right? But Georgia and Kansas State, we have officials from both of those schools saying they heavily consider refusing to schedule Texas Tech based on this. I mean, that's how far this has gone.
And I think that would be, if the court's not going to deal with it the way they should, I think that would be the way to deal with it. Obviously, if there's something, and you kind of couched it properly, right? Scheduling stuff in the future, because if anything's scheduled now, I don't know that you can back out of that. The money that's involved, the lawsuits that would emerge from that would be painstaking. So yeah, I mean, I guess you could fight back by not scheduling Texas Tech in the future and things of that nature. And I think that's probably a good way to do it. As far as the appeal is concerned, you're right. I think there is the possibility, especially with some of this backlash, that there could be an expedited appeal. But even if, and what I mean by that is an appeal that would maybe take place before the trial date of February 2027. But even if that were the case, it would probably still be halfway, 3/4 of the way through the season. And that appeal might not be successful, frankly.
I mean, because otherwise, right? Otherwise, and we could leave it at this, but otherwise, if this stands, right, and nothing else happens here, couldn't any player in any sport in college sports mess up, to whatever degree, even a fraction of the degree that Brendan Sorsby did? He broke the golden rule, right? 40 bets on his own team, for God's sakes. Everybody knows you don't do that, right? Anybody could do a fraction of that and just claim and just be like, it's an addiction, it's a temporary thing, I need help, and expect the same outcome, right? Like, this becomes this unbelievable thing where you can't put the genie back in the bottle.
Well, the problem is, and there's two things. One is that you can claim irreparable harm. The other thing is you can merely just file for a temporary injunction, an injunction which, in the case of an athlete, will delay it because we know Sorsby only has 1 year of eligibility left. So it might be different if it's like a freshman or sophomore with more eligibility. But the point is, you can delay the proceedings just courtesy of an injunction for an entire year, depending on what jurisdiction you're in. I think that's the bigger problem here. And the thing that I thought was so crazy about this ruling, it's not necessarily the argument that was made. I think it was a poor argument that apparently Judge Curry decided was good enough to grant the injunction. But the worst part here isn't that. The worst part is, to get an injunction, there are certain things you need to establish to get an injunction. And one of those things is a substantial likelihood, or in some jurisdictions, they might say a probability of success on the underlying merits of the claim. In other words, when you go to trial, even though all the evidence isn't before the judge in that time, but you know enough typically when you're granting an injunction as to whether or not the actual claim from Sorsby against the NCAA regarding his reinstatement and eligibility, whether or not that's going to be successful. And given the admissions from Sorsby and the mountain of evidence that we already have on his gambling, the idea that he would be successful against the NCAA on the underlying case is just patently absurd to me.
Wow. Unbelievable.
The one I'm like, if you're Texas Tech, you can't let him on the field. Like, you can't let him play.
It's college sports.
But like, okay, I can't hypothetically here, gentlemen, right? Like, can't I just say he got beat out and he's not going to be the starting quarterback or something? You can't let him set foot on the field.
You're expecting integrity, is what you're expecting?
Because every school freaking out about this, Texas Tech should feel the same way. This kid's only here for a year.
They should.
Okay.
Well, Kelly, what's their preseason rank? What's their likelihood to potentially contend? I think this is a very good Texas Tech team, and with money as your bottom line, you're just kind of hoping the story goes away. You're right; the pushback might be enough for Texas Tech to reconsider, but we know from college athletics, not just recently, but in the last 25 years, with just the restructuring of conferences and things of that nature, at the end of the day, money's going to rule this thing.
Absolutely. Jeez. It's an incredible story. It's an incredible story. Nobody saw this come. Like, nobody was thinking about this yesterday. And all of a sudden, by the way, Judge, it should be pointed out, you take this for whatever you want, from Fort Worth, Texas. Just want to point that out. Okay. Let's close this with something more sports betting related. You love professional football and golf and other things. Give me a Sia Nejad professional football. I know we're here in early June, but give me an NFL take that you've got and that you're betting.
As soon as the Myles Garrett trade was made, and I understand the Rams gave up Jared first. I already liked the Rams to win the Super Bowl. Actually thought they were the best team last year as well, even after the fact. I still think they're better than Seattle, or at least comparable to Seattle. I like an exacta. This is just a fun bet, right? These are sprinkle bets. It's 90-1. It's now moved to 80-1, I think. The Rams over the Bengals. I think the shock for everybody on the other side of it would be the Bengals. But I honestly think the Bengals offense is unstoppable. The upgrades they made on defense beyond just Dexter Lawrence, also other Boye Mafe, other free agents in the draft, or other free agents and the draft for the Bengals. I think this defense isn't going to be great, but I think they're going to be not a bottom 5 defense. And if that's the case, you can't stop this Bengals offense. If Joe Burrow stays healthy, which he tends to not, but if he does and he gets regression the right way from a health standpoint, this Bengals team could very easily go back to the Super Bowl, play the Rams again like they did in 2022, and probably lose 23-20. Give me the Rams over the Bengals, 90-1 in the next Super Bowl.
Wow, 90-1, Rams over Bengals, your Super Bowl exacta. And I did not have Sia I did not have you making a hockey bet here on the show today, but you have one.
I mean, I just like the value on the Canes, plus 158 to win the series. I think they're going to win tonight, and so that's obviously a part of it. If they don't, they're in trouble. But pre-flop here, Gil, you're saying they were what, minus 145, minus 150 to win it all. I still think they're the better team. I thought they showcased it in the third period last time out. Plus 158 to win the series. Kind of like it.
See ya. Thank you for the perspective on Brendan Sorsby, and thank you for letting us know that you passed the bar on the first try. I believe we got that out of the segment.
2 states.
Yeah, 2 states.